Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Indie Creative Comics Podcast, where we are all about independent comics. I am one of your hosts, Angel, with John Pepe.
How's it going, Angel?
It is going good,
It's
brother.
like summer in April
Dude, it was,
here in the East Coast.
yes, I just came in from a walk with my wife, and holy crap, we did less than a mile, and I'm already sweating like a freaking mad dog. But
Yeah.
then it's supposed to go down to 40 degrees on
It's
Monday.
back to not quite spring
Yeah,
next week.
no,
Yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
freaking insane. So, but you know what? I'll take what I can get because I think the last couple of days, I'm going into old man talk now. It took me 3 days to build this shed that I've been building in the back. It took 3 days and I think 1,495 fucks, and I finally got through it. Just cursing up the gods and stuff like that. So yeah. Oh, now we're
But
getting. But then
now you have a new murder shed
I do have a new version. There's more room in it so far.
for
More
more
bodies.
murders.
More murders and bodies. Yeah, cool. So we're on our new day, new time. I'm loving it. I like 6 o'clock better because I feel more awake. I think when we were doing like 1 o'clock, I felt the pressure.
That's interesting because I feel more tired by 6 o'clock because I have I've had a full day of also doing like house stuff and
Yeah,
it's my day
yeah.
off, so I try to attend to stuff. But it's fine. I do actually think it's good. I think it's like a nice sweet spot, right?
Well, that's because you're an old man. That's what it is,
Yeah.
and
No,
whatnot. But
you'll
all right,
know in
guys.
like 4 months.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Indie Comics Podcast. This is episode 192. Dude, we're
Woo!
getting close. We're 8 episodes away. I'm really excited from our bicentennial. We have nothing planned, so don't expect anything grand, anyone. It's just going to be us talking shit. We
Maybe
do
I'll bring
have
a
some.
spark. Maybe I'll risk lighting a sparkler inside my living room.
Oh, that'd be cool. Maybe we should read like some prose or something. Maybe we'll read like Moby Dick or The Odyssey because the movie's coming out. That book's only like what, like 1,000 pages
It's a be quick
long.
read. Quick
It's a
read.
quick read. Yeah, so we're excited. We have a couple of books for you this week. Not a lot of news, but just want to give a quick reminder. We've got 2 weeks. We're away for Free Comic Book Day. Really looking forward to it. I missed last year, so I was upset. It's a really long day, but it's a very rewarding day. In respects, you get to see a lot of people that you haven't seen in a long time. You get to see new, fresh faces, and there's some content that comes out. And I like seeing little kids happy when they receive their free comics, and I like to see what am I gonna call them? I'm gonna call them grifters. The dads that come in with the entire family to say, "Hey, you get that packet, you get that packet, you get that packet," and we'll have all the packets of comics and stuff like that. But what I like that's really cool that our store does is they do it for the first two, right? So the first two that actually come in through the door, they get an entire set.
All the free day off, free comic
Yeah,
day
so whatever
offerings.
there
Yes.
is, if there's 30 books, 40 books, they get all of them. So we'll have people that are camped out in front of the store at least, we started what, around 11-ish?
Yeah. If there's a big enough crowd, we open earlier. I think
Yeah,
but
so
yeah.
11 o'clock we're out there, and there's already a small crowd of people who actually want every single one of the books, which is pretty cool. And then it just wraps around the building. And for the most part, we've been doing it long enough where we just keep things flowing. So even if you're wrapped around the building, the most that you're standing around for is maybe 10 to 15 minutes. But then you get to see Batcaz, the
Mhm.
true and one and only Batman. Dude, if it's been like every May since the dawn of time, it's gonna be like 90 degrees. And this guy goes full on out with like it's real Batman gear. So when he comes back in from the outside to just take a break, he has to peel off his mask and everything.
Oh
Dude, it's
yeah.
like 30 pounds of sweat. He must lose at least 30 pounds in that day
He
of
loses
just water.
A whole robin's weight,
Yeah.
a whole robin in water weight.
You know what? We got to talk to him and see if he can like bring a sidekick one day, a Robin. I think that would be
It's funny.
cool.
The fun thing about that event is that other people do come dressed up
Yes.
and like kind of hang out on the line all day and kind of he'll do photo ops with them and everything too. I think one year the Flash was chasing the Riddler around the building, so yeah,
The
that
f-
it is open to that. I think,
then
but
we
I think Backus is a solo act though. I think he's
Yes,
more
yes,
of a
yes. But
yeah.
I mean, we can always ask. And then obviously, I think was Deadpool there last year because I know he was there the year before and the year
Yeah,
before that.
I think he did at least the last couple of years, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
he showed
yeah,
up.
and Captain America was coming around for a while and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's cool. Listen, if you're in the Jersey area, you want to come and visit, we're in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Just look up the Joker's Child. If you're not, just make sure that you patronize your local comic book shop, and hopefully they have a free comic book day going on for you guys as well. That'd be
And
cool.
as you mentioned, first couple folks in line, yeah, I believe they do get all at least at the Joker's Child and Fairlawn. I believe they do get all the free comic book day offerings for that day. The only caveat, the only thing is that you actually have to read all of the comics before you could leave the store.
You're so full of shit.
Yeah. It's like
no, but there is a caveat. So for those of you or know like the norms, because we've had it happen in like
this is a very
years
important
of
thing to say.
freaking free comic book day. If this is your first time going to a free comic book day, do not go to where the new comics are and just start pulling stuff off the shelves.
Or back issues.
Books for that day. Yes, back issues that cost $100 are not going to be free on that day.
Not everything is free. It is specifically produced books for that day that you will have on your way out the door. You will have a menu option of a packet of books that you would like to take based on your likings, like a restaurant. It's like it's a menu option, right? And you don't even have to buy anything. You could just come and hang out at the store, walk around, take a look at what's going on. And then on your way out, get your comics. We would love for you to buy some stuff because what they offer for free comic book day, it's just barely scratching the surface of what is available in the world of comics. But yeah, it's funny because it's like, having to read all the free comic book day offerings before you leave. It reminds me of The Great Outdoors, the John Candy movie.
Yes.
Eat the big steak. Grizzle of fat and all before
everything. And he does it. But I will say this. So each store does it differently.
Yes.
Like we do a menu option where we put packets together of comics that make sense for one another, and then people just pick off a menu what they like. Other stores just display them on a table and people just take what they want, kind of maybe one of each or whatever it is. So yeah, just check with your store, see how they do it. But I know it's done it a bunch of ways. This is kind of like what works for us because it keeps traffic flowing nicely and keeps the waiting time for people that are outside down to a minimum, which is great.
Yeah, the traffic control is really well done. It's really smooth. Yeah, I think some stores just throw the comics at people as they walk in. So
as
but
we do here.
We have it very nicely structured. It's very cool.
We do. All right, so look out for that. Other than that, we don't have any really comic news on the back burner there. So I think we're just going to hop into it. We've got a couple of books this week. It was a good week. I think next week is going to be an even better week, too. There's a bunch of number ones that I saw coming out that looked interesting. And I think what we'll do is we'll make an announcement then because the following week is free comic book day. So we'll see because I think you may have to go into the store. We'll figure something out. Maybe you could do something live from the store just for a couple minutes.
Now with my phone,
that'd be freaking cool. Yeah, I forgot your phone's from like 1972.
It's almost it's 9.5 years old this summer.
Oh crikey, that thing just barely turns on then.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shift. Let's go into comic reviews. We have about 3 comics for you this week. I'm excited to talk about mine, but I'm going to let you go first because I really want to hear about this particular book.
Yeah, so this is from Bad Idea. It's called The Hab, and so this is my second Bad Idea book. I think we talked about this.
Yes. Before you start, is this news on newsprint also or no?
Yeah, it's that same newsprint type. It's a little, I think it's a
thicker.
little thicker. That's again, hence the $5.99 price point. But you also do get a higher page count and no ads.
That's true. This is true.
Yeah, right. or minimal ads, we'll say.
Yes.
Like 2 pages. The back page is upcoming releases, which is fun. I noticed something in here that was pretty funny. I'll talk about that. And then a write-up about the next project from Robert Venditti and Derek Kolstad called Warbird. They, of course, wrote Planet Death together, and then they split because they conceived Ordained together, but Kolstad being the screenwriter of the John Wick movies, et cetera, he's writing the screenplay for Ordained. Robert Venditti's writing the comic for Ordained. And that brings us back to my first Bad Idea comic that I've ever read or reviewed, which was Ordained, and loved it. Loved what's going on. That's a 3-issue series. Apparently, that world is expanding, which you'll get to a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get you talked about the Beyond Megalith preview book. So there's an ad for the beginning of the Olympus Saga Megalith coming in May, and of course an ad for the second issue of the Hab. So what is the Hab? Well, first of all, the Hab is written by Joshua Dysart, art by David Lapham, Jacob Phillips, and Bill Sienkiewicz, color art by Bill Crabtree, Jacob Phillips, and Matt Hollingsworth. Lettered by Simon Boland, logo designed by Rico Renzi. You got Mark Roslin getting a production credit, Brockton McKinney getting a creative operations director. Looking for any other editing. Vice President Sales Marketing, Sienna Fallon, Benjamin Simpson, Senior Vice President Film and Television, which is interesting, right? Peter Stern, Chief Operating Officer, Dinesh Shamdasani, CEO and Chief Creative Officer. So, as far as I see here, very little editorial input, which is great because, again, Joshua Dysart, David Lapham, Jacob Phillips, and Bill Sienkiewicz, they're all professionals. So there you have it for your creator credits. What is the Hab exactly? The Hab is a very complex and massive doomsday bunker.
Nice. So it goes underground?
So it's underground in like the Arctic wastelands. It sits on top of, you can see right down there, this natural spring water lake in this untouched for millennia cave. Okay, so very interesting, right? And basically this was constructed by this man named Tuttle Barrows, which is a very interesting name. He's a very eccentric, rich person, right? And he has built this bunker in anticipation of the societal collapse so that he could preserve himself, his bloodline, and what have you, okay? And so I'm going to put out a challenge to anyone who's watching live, comment live, or if you're watching later, comment later on. I want to show you this double page spread. You might not be able to see it here, but if you've read the book, maybe you've noticed it. So you do actually get a very nice, on your second page, you get a nice layout of all your principal characters right on the top there. All right. And I think it might be too small for you to notice what's going on there. So I'm not going to say what it is that I noticed there, because it does come into play about editing. So I'm going to save that for the end of the review. But basically, so you have a really dysfunctional family situation where the father has a daughter who had gone away because the very tragic incident happened, having to do with her substance abuse when she was, because she's like 17, 18 now. So a couple years earlier, something really bad happened. This continues to haunt her to this day. So she doesn't want to be there. Not on top of the fact that the whole world is sort of, society has collapsed out there and they're trapped in this thing now, right? And so the father is so obsessed with keeping this habitat running and operational, and there's a problem with a giant steel door that connects them to that underground spring. Okay. And that's very important. They chose that because it has the most purest, cleanest water on earth. Okay. Because of a natural filtration system and everything like that. It's a very key point. And so now, and then there's so his ex-wife, his daughter, Melanie's mother, was not invited to the habitat. No ex-wives. So she actually was in Manhattan when the nuclear bomb went off, as they tell you. And the stepmother is someone who the daughter really hates. The stepmother is also having an affair with the head of security. So already you're trapped in this habitat. The outside world is destroyed. And this is already what you're dealing with. And then the nightmarish visions and murders start to happen. Nice. So that's where you're at. The big reveal, because it kind of gets you right into this with the horror, with the terrifying imagery, the acts that only, again, you're only got like less than a dozen people in this habitat. So if one of your tech people goes, that leaves one of your other tech people. But if that other tech person is horrifically maimed in said incident as well, what are you dealing with? Not to mention the fact that everybody's hallucinating and everybody's talking crazy stuff. And it turns out that the water contains a parasite or some sort of chemical that is causing everybody in this habitat to go crazy. And
Nice.
and that's so great setup. You do find out early on a bunch of the backstory, not only what exactly it was that is haunting the daughter. You get a little flashback towards the end to like 3 years, and then you get like this little coda story that is done in sort of an ancient language as far as any word balloons. It seems to be some sort of mystic ritual, and so it's very interesting. It's very very interesting how this backup story kind of does or does not connect to what's going on in the main story. And so you have the three artists who were, again, one of my favorites, David Lapham of Stray Bullets, currently doing American Caper, which they're really enjoying. He's pretty much doing the contemporary, and then Jacob Phillips is doing the 3 years ago portion.
Okay.
And then the weird story with again, let's see if you can see some of this, with the weird ancient ritual and the word balloons of just hieroglyphics or cave paintings. Yeah. That's Bill Sienkiewicz, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and it's like, sometimes Bill can really go out there. This is a lot more reined in, which I think makes it even creepier for what's going on. So yeah, really interesting, really cool, great setup, terrifying concept, just in and of itself.
Yep. So you have these guys that are trapped in there now, but do we have any indication as to whether or not life survived outside the hab?
So by all accounts, people are saying there's nothing out there, right? Even if there was anything out there, they're in like the Arctic, right?
Right.
So that's the thing is, you might have like, there might be a twist where the Tuttle guy is, he's lying to everybody and faked that the world outside is destroyed. But they do say that the daughter was being evacuated from the East Coast when she saw the nuclear missile hit.
Right.
And her mom was in Manhattan. So that is said. So again, who knows? Because again, people are seeing really wacky, crazy stuff. Who knows how far along that maybe they were drinking that water even before they got there,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's eerie similar to stuff that's already been out. I mean, Fallout would probably be the closest thing that I could think of right now. Yeah. And there was another series on Apple called Silo. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard about this. Yeah,
same concept. So you had all these different silos, and everybody was kind of lied to as to what was going on outside and stuff like that. So,
but again, even if that part is the truth,
right?
It's that you're locked into this thing.
Yeah.
And there's only a few of you, and already, hour 3. People are, melting each other's faces with these blow torches. So yeah, again, really great, terrifying concept. A couple of things about Bad Idea I want to talk about. So we've talked about this before. When they started, they had a lot of rules for the stores themselves. You couldn't sell anything for more than cover price before 30 days after release. They always said they weren't going to do trade paperbacks. They weren't going to do variant covers. They weren't going to do multiple printings. That by this like third or fourth round of Bad Idea has all sort of gone out the window. There were some really nice variant covers on this. I meant to pick up one of them because I thought it was really cool. I still love the Bane cover as well. This is by Charlie Adler. So again, with books like Ordained that are selling out, they're going into multiple printings. They are now doing trade paperbacks and stuff. I'm sure this will get the trade paperback treatment. But I wanted to notice in their upcoming releases, I mentioned before that they really had some high hopes for certain things here. And I actually noticed that the book that came out yesterday that you're reviewing from Bad Idea, and I'll save your explanation for that for later. In the back of this upcoming releases for May, it's already got a second printing listed. And it's there as coming out in April.
That's what I knew.
It's a release for April, May, and June. So that book for April, And then yeah, second printing already slated for May. So
That's
that's
funny.
not the Warbird one, but I just it was on that same page where that information was.
Well, listen, I'll give it to them because they're in their third iteration of Bad Ideas, so their third round. And
Yeah,
I get it. They were really ambitious in the beginning. They wanted to kind of mix up what was going on in the market at the time and wanted to bring something fresh, and they did. I
yeah,
mean, you had to in each store you had to carry a sign with the rules on it from Bad Idea in order for you to be able to distribute.
yeah,
And they even dropped stores from breaking the rules.
yeah.
So I'll give them that much.
And they would
Because
have people do like crazy things, at conventions, carrying signs like "Bad idea must go,"
yeah, but
around convention
that doesn't
floors. And
affect the bottom dollar. But I think
doesn't
when you
affect the
make
dollar.
statements,
Yeah,
that do affect the bottom dollar, like
yeah,
no variants,
right.
no trades, that it's yeah, you
They
can't
did
make statements like
things.
that.
They did things to drive people into stores on Wednesday at opening. Because remember,
Right.
they had a thing for the first couple waves where if you were the first person in line to buy a Bad Idea book on a
You got the
Wednesday,
button
you got a
stuff. Yeah.
button. You could trade that in for stuff.
Yeah.
So they did real things to drive people. And then, so I think it was great because they had good 3 years of building up that reputation, and
Right.
now they don't have to do those gimmicks and they can concentrate, yes, on mass producing multiple printings. Their books are selling out day of release in some cases still,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Ordained, and that's hitting
But
multiple
listen. So
printings
what
now.
my
So
point is that none of that stuff affected the bottom line. They
yeah,
said what they said. I think knowing that eventually it would change, because there's no way you're gonna say no to money. And
yeah,
if you put these things on there where it's like, all right, there's no variant cover, there's no trades, it definitely puts more urgency on FOMO for people.
mhm,
So the fear of missing out on, all right, there's no multiple printings. So either I get it or I don't. There's probably not going to be a huge run of copies. So it's definitely going to be worth more in the future. And there's definitely not going to be a trade collected and stuff like that. So it makes it more appealing in regards to getting your hands on something because
mhm.
it really is limited. You can only do that for so long. To me, when it comes down to bottom dollar stuff, you shouldn't make promises that you're not going to hold to.
Well, I
Um,
don't think I don't think they ever said that. I think it was just these are the rules for phase one. These are the rules for phase two, and then they did the sort of bad ideas done. We're never coming back.
yes,
And then it
yes,
was more like
yes.
the bad idea as you knew it is done. Now we're coming back and we're going to make things more available because now we have a film and television this production department
Yes.
behind us.
All
So
right, I get it, but
yeah.
because so yeah, whatever we did in round 1 and 2 worked. So yeah, we have a little bit more
And
leeway.
here's the other thing. And again, they had, not only do they have the gimmicks and the driving people in the stores on the Wednesdays, they had good content. They had self-contained series. They didn't blow up a shared universe. They didn't
Yes.
tell stories that are going to be run to the ground. A lot of what they did in those first two rounds. Yes, there's things like Hank Howard that are continuing now. There
Hmm.
is some expanding of certain things, but most of it was like a 3 to 5 issue miniseries, self-contained. And the talent is good, and so that's part of it. And if you like comics as a medium, but you don't necessarily gravitate towards the superhero stuff, or you don't necessarily gravitate towards licensed comics or whatnot, if you just sort of want to try some hard sci-fi or some sci-fi with a horror bent, like they have that. And again, you get a lot of bang for that $5.99.
Yeah.
It is on that kind of heavy newsprint stock, but you get like an extra size page count, and like I said, like no ads. So
Yeah.
I think that's where the focus is, not the antics now. The
Yeah.
focus
Yeah.
is on the creativity.
Well, the other thing that's appealing about them as well is you don't have to worry about continuity. So if you're looking to get into comics for the first time and you want to read Batman and or where do I start kind of thing, it's a little bit harder.
Mhm.
But with Bad Idea, because they're these short 2-3 issues, you can hop in and you're done with the story, then you can move on to the next one. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that they do that are really good. All right, cool. The Hat from Bad Idea.
Yeah, it was great. It was
Check it out.
really good. It just, like I said, it just kicks in right away,
Yeah.
keeps you guessing a little bit, and then
Got
you're
Death
like,
Above the Hab and In the Hab. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to continue with Bad Idea. So we're gonna move on to the Machine.
Hey, there's a
All right.
second printing of that coming out next month.
Yeah, already. We already know. All right, so let me just go. Oh, I don't even know where they put the stuff at. So we know that it's written by Robert Vendetti. Where did they put the credits? Oh, here it goes.
Oh,
Is
the
that
way
it?
back page, right? Yeah.
Oh, they did. Okay, Ordained, the Machine. It's Ordained zero, and I put one by accident. So writer Robert Vendetti, art by Trevor Hairsine, color by David Barron, and letters by DC Hopkins. All right, so this is from the universe of Ordained.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what Ordained is, we talked about it, a couple times here on the show. But basically, this is one of Bad Ideas books where you have a priest who has a past and did the right thing. He went to a hospital. He gave last rites to a person that thought that they were dying. Ended up being sort of like the mob leader of this particular family. He goes back to the church after he does the last rites, and comes to find out that the head of the family is not gonna die, but he confessed all this stuff to the priest. And so, if you're a living human being, confess your life out and don't want to go to jail for the rest of your life, you don't care if it's a priest that you confess to anybody, even though the priest is bound by Catholic law not to say anything. What do? Yeah, you send your henchman to go kill him. But what we find out is that this priest had a past. He has military training, so we know that he was in the military, and something happened. I think in the last issue I mentioned it, that gave him sort of like a new look on life. So he changed his ways and became a priest. And yeah, he beat the shit out of those guys in the church. And so he beat them so badly. There was a second group that came in, beat those guys so badly. It's John Wick is a priest, basically. And so now you have this next book that came out. It's a one shot called The Machine. And so at the very end of the second issue, you have the mob boss calling in a favor to get the Machine to come in and take care of the problem, which is the priest. So here you get, I like this. This is actually pretty cool. So it's a one shot that gives you a little bit of background of what's going on in this universe. So rather than just him coming into the third issue and just trying to kill somebody because he was hired, you actually get to see the way he operates, the way that he thinks. This read to me a little bit Pulp Fiction-y. It really reminded me of Quentin Tarantino's like style. So I'm thinking of Pulp Fiction. I'm thinking of John Travolta and Sam Jackson. Sort of like the way Sam Jackson would speak to the guys before he would kill them. Like he would preach to them the quotes from the Bible. This guy would do the same. Highly intelligent, built like a machine. So I picture in my head, like an Alan Richardson, 6'3", 280-pound guy, who's highly intelligent, and sort of like, he's not full of himself, but he's super confident in his ability of what he does, and he loves what he fucking does, and that's kill people, which is fantastic. And he has rules. So like, everything that he does is really methodical. So the Machine name is actually really good for this particular character because he's methodical in the way that he does what he does, which is assassinate people for money. And you see that. And he tries to make sure that nothing interferes with the way that he sets up plans. And in this particular issue, we see something kind of go awry. And I don't want to give too much away, especially if you're reading Ordained and you pick this up. But he tries to give, I guess, not the victims, but the surrounding people that weren't supposed to be there an opportunity to be able to walk away because they're not part of whatever job he's part of. Really good. I mean, Robert Vendetti, we've been reading his stuff for a while, so I knew it was going to be good. I love the fact that we get a little bit of background, we get a little bit of insight on how this guy thinks and what may play out when he goes to see the priest and do what he needs to do. So, yeah, I think the priest is definitely going to have a really hard time with this guy.
So narratively, is this sort of a prequel that could be read between 2 and 3, or does this actually take place between issues 2 and 3 of The Ordained?
No, so you would read it after 2 because that would be the mention. So it would be between 2 and 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but it's not like,
and you don't need to read it. All it is
right.
just giving you more insight.
But what I'm saying is it a does it actually though? I know you can read it between 2 and 3. I'm
Right?
thinking of, like you mentioned, Tarantino, so I'm thinking of Reservoir Dogs, right? And I'm thinking of
Yes, yes,
the commode story sequence, the flashback
yes,
to the
yes.
beforehand. So
So
is this
no,
take
it's actually so it takes place at the end of two
to it? Okay,
because they're
gotcha.
making a phone call,
Yeah,
and then what
I
ends
know.
up happening is at the very beginning of this issue, the phone is ringing, and he
Gotcha.
keeps just clicking it off, like he's not picking it up because he's in the
Got
middle of a job.
of another job. I
Yes,
like it.
and
So you see him
dude,
doing a one job
all right, I will
and
give you this.
ducking
Here,
another
here,
call.
here.
Yeah, I like
Let me
it.
see if I could find it. So, and he has sort of like a way that he kills particular people.
Right.
Same thing, same kind of like card stock and stuff like that. It's a little bit thicker than the regular card. I mean,
Mhm.
the newsprint. Or oh, not you. I don't need you. I need me.
Yeah.
In, but yeah. So you can see how it opens up. He's got tomato and stuff, and he's pouring himself a drink. He's making himself a turkey and cheese sandwich. And what set off the whole Quentin Tarantino thing is that he's making a sandwich and he's talking out loud to people.
Gotcha.
And he goes in, he's like, the only thing that's missing off of this turkey and cheese sandwich is some mayonnaise. Goes into the fridge, picks up a jar, he looks at it, and he makes this face. So I know it's not mayonnaise. And it ends up not being mayonnaise.
Oh,
So do
God.
you know what it was?
I got a few thoughts. So
It's fucking Miracle Whip. So he
ah,
goes off on his whole tangent of these guys that are dead already on the floor talking to them, and there's a guy tied up in a chair.
yeah.
And he's going off on a tangent about how Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise.
It's like the Royale with cheese
Yes,
deal.
yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
Gotcha.
So it's that
Yeah.
whole scene, and the guy's shitting his fucking pants in the chair because he knows he's gonna die, and he's going off on this is not freaking mayonnaise. If it was
Funny.
mayonnaise, it would say mayonnaise in it. It doesn't even have the same ingredients. It's like people who pick up Miracle Whip don't know what fucking mayonnaise is. And I'm just over here and I'm laughing because I know this guy's gonna die and he's shitting his pants, and but he's doing it calmly. So I'm just thinking in my head, if Alan Richardson was a killer, this is exactly the way that he'd be saying it.
Right.
Just
Right.
really calm and just pissed off because it's not mayonnaise and
Yeah.
it's Miracle Whip.
Interesting.
And then it happens again later on. He has this whole intelligent conversation with a woman in a bar about salamanders. How, and she calls them lizards, and he says, no, they're not lizards, they're amphibians. They start off in the water. They have gills, and all of a sudden they start to develop lungs, and they need to walk on land, so they develop legs, and then they leave. And it's all about sort of like how salamanders evolve into these land creatures,
Mhm.
but not all salamanders should move to the land because once they do, they can't go back to what they were, the larvae kind of stage. And he's comparing certain people to salamanders that they should just stay in the water and know their lane kind of thing. It was really good. I mean, I like it when you have um, assassins or whatever, to hire people that are intelligent and not conceited,
Yeah.
but just it's just written really, really well. The character
But have a little
really
quirk
awesome.
too. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's something behind the eyes. There's something in the thought process that just makes you go like, "Holy fuck, this motherfucker is really crazy." But he's highly intelligent. But he's a psychopath, and the way he kills his people the same way every single time, pretty cool. So
Nice.
if you've read Ordained, definitely pick up the machine. It'll give you some insight on what's going to happen in issue 3 or what's going to happen with a person in issue 3. If you've not read Ordained, you can pick it up. The references you may not get because of the past issues, but yeah, still really cool. It's a really good masterclass on storytelling as well.
Mhm.
When I pick up a comic and I read it all the way through without putting it down at all, without being distracted and being drawn in, really solid. So Robert Venditti and the team, cool. The art is great. The mood setting, the facial expressions, the way the clothing is drawn and draped on the body, really, 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 really awesome stuff. Just great.
Cool.
So, yeah, Bad Idea. Check them out. If you're not reading Bad Idea books, you can say whatever we want about imprints, but yeah, they know what they're doing.
We just gave you 2.
Yep, we
Yeah.
just gave you 2. All right, cool. I guess I have the last one as well.
Yeah.
Woo! The event of the event of the events. So I actually got the Declan Shalvey cover for this one, which is pretty cool. But this is sort of the first crossover in the event that Dynamite is doing with the Thundercats and the Silverhawk, called the Thundercats X Silverhawks event. There's going to be 15 issues altogether, crossed over in 3 books. So this is issue number 1 of Mumra. We already got the first issue of Thundercats Silverhawks, I think last week. So I think every week until this is over, I think, which is like at June-ish time or just end of May, we're gonna get a book every single week. This book was good. No, I'm gonna actually for me it was great because it brought me back still. What we didn't get in those early episodes of Thundercats was a lot of the lore of Third Earth. So this is I went down into a deep dive. So basically, with Mumra the Ever Living, we're sort of getting an origin. I don't think we've ever had an origin of Mumra in comics. You get some hints in the TV series because he mentions First Earth, I think, a couple of times, or and so that Third Earth would be the third iteration of that planet. So whatever there was, whatever extinction level event happened, kill the Earth, and then you got Second Earth, and then Third Earth. That's the way that I was kind of explained to. But then I read this comic, and that throws that shit out the window. So you basically have Mumra living on Earth in Egypt. So he's actually an Egyptian. What's his name? Called Ramses something. It's a long freaking name. And he's friends with another guy. He's actually serves his master, but he's not a slave that's in the tunnels. He's sort of like that in between. So he does have privileges to be able to come and go as not as he pleases, but as he's given permission to. But he's not one of the slaves that are in the pyramids building stuff, or in this instance, they're digging for gold for their masters and stuff like that. And so he has sort of like a protector. But there's this thing inside of him that is just it's not right. And so in this instance, and I think that's because for the most part he's been alone his entire life. His parents sold him to his masters that he serves now. So there's something that he's holding on to in it. So you sort of get sort of the origin of how he became Mumra. And so how much do I want to give away? Because it really opened up my eyes in regards to, because I went down, like I said, the Thundercats left Thundera and found themselves on Third Earth. Now, were there two Earths before it? Are there more Earths after? Are there literally physical other planets that are called Earth?
Or is it like different?
Or is it just the one planet
Earth,
and
right?
phases?
Yeah.
So, in this book, he meets the ancient evil. Those four characters that you see in the cartoon when he turns into Mumra. So when he calls upon the ancient evil spirits to turn into Mumra, he meets them in this particular book. They take him from Earth 1 to Earth 2.
Okay.
So that tells me that physically there's another Earth.
Okay.
So I don't know if it takes the old lore and throws that out the window. Yeah, so does Third Earth mean that he shifts to Third Earth where the Thundercats are? Because when the Thundercats land in Third Earth, Mama's already been there for over a millennia. Mm-hmm. Or does Earth 2 become Earth 3?
Or since this is the Silverhawks crossover taking place in 3 different time periods, right? Because this is the book, Mumra's the book in the past. Thunderhawks, or Thundercats Silverhawks, the first one that you reviewed already, is present day or whatever that contemporary for that series.
Yes.
And then there's the third piece, the Thunderhawks, which is in a merged future. So what if Earth 2 or Second Earth is the Silverhawks Earth? There's another shunting. No, okay.
No,
gotcha.
Because the entire planet is ruled by these ancient evil spirits.
Right.
And so this is where we get to see Ramses become Mumra. So they basically take whatever he is inside,
right,
and put it on the outside.
Interesting.
So Mumra, the way that he looks now, is what Ramses was on the inside.
Right.
So you know how they say you're beautiful on the inside? This motherfucker was not.
Yeah.
So it ends that way.
Yeah.
So
with the money,
with
him being.
It flips the lore a little bit. So you get a little bit of what you got in the cartoon, and then now we're starting to get some lore that's slightly different, and I like it. I mean, if there's physically different planets that are called Earth 1, Earth 2, or 3, that's cool. I've never seen a map of it, so I don't know what the solar system looks like. But if it's the same planet and it's different iterations of that planet, and who knows? I mean, Earth 2 could be a dimension, another dimension within the same planet.
Right.
And then Earth 3 is the Ellie event. the extinction level event that wipes everything out, and then you have Mumbra on, Third Earth. It starts to spring new life and stuff like that, and then the Thundercats land on it.
Yeah.
So it's
Interesting.
that reference there itself is a little obscure to me, but it'd be interesting to see if Declan plays with creating sort of like the lore moving forward of what if it's a physical 3 planets, or is it one planet and these different things are happening in different dimensions or time and space
Yeah.
in the planets. Either
So
way, it was really good. It was good to see sort of like how Mummer came to be.
yeah.
And it's funny because when you have a bad guy and you think in your head, all right, you're going to get an origin story, so it's going to be one of these two things. Either he was always a dick and he just becomes a bad guy, or he was a good guy, really taken advantage of, and then became a dick and then the bad guy kind of thing. So and you might have a little bit of some iterations here and there, just to throw in some mix, but for the most part, those are the two that you're going to get. And so we got sort of like the guy who was mistreated and had this bad thing inside of him and becomes who he becomes because he wants to blame everybody else, but handle his own pressures. And so then you have the evil spirits kind of talking to him and kind of willing him to come to this second Earth. But really cool. This is the one event that I'm probably going to stick with all the way through and read every single book because I grew up on both of them.
Yeah.
For me, Silverhawks only had one season. It ran 69 episodes, I want to say, but
yeah.
I wish we got more of it. And if this sparks, maybe getting another iteration of animation, live action, I don't know if they'll ever do it. I think it would be freaking cool to see a live action Thundercats. Even the Silverhawks would be freaking cool, but we're probably not going to get it in our lifetime.
I think the movie version of the musical Cats kind of put the kibosh on any live action humanoid cat movies for a while.
Why? Because some of them had real hands. They weren't freaking dressed up all the way.
It was like, well, the movie was apparently an abomination.
That movie was horrible.
And then there were the cat buttholes. Apparently, that was a thing that had to get edited out of the movie. But yeah, apparently, just I've seen like the commercials. It looks weird. It just looks weird.
Yeah.
But so what's kind of neat, because we've talked about this when you reviewed the first part of this, the first miniseries, or the first issue of that, and we were talking about this in the store the other day. So this is interesting how they're doing this, because this is the origin of Mumra. Mm-hmm. As of now, it doesn't feel like it's connecting to the Thundercats Silverhawks greater crossover. I'm sure it will down the road,
right?
But this is sort of, if you're a Thundercats fan, this is the story you've been waiting for.
Yes,
and it feels like it is packaged as one piece of this greater miniseries, but being an origin story that probably will mostly take place in the past. It feels like this is the one thing that if you're a diehard Thundercats fan and you don't necessarily care about that crossover, this is something that you can still pick up.
Yeah, correct. Because this doesn't even mention the Thundercats. We haven't even gotten that far yet. So right now, as far as we're concerned, we're just still on Earth 2. And so, and I think there's only 3 issues. So I think it's going to just move on to,
okay, I thought it was
becomes Third Earth.
I thought this was 3 5 issues. I thought each one was a 5 issue. I thought that's what you had said, right. But yeah.
Wait, Mom, yeah. So 5 issues.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a connection down the road, because it has to bring him up to the current timeline.
Yeah.
And then deal with that situation, and then who knows, maybe even into the future, right, with the Thunderhawks, to see what he looks like and what he's doing in that future, right, instance as well. So yeah, I'm loving it. So I think next week we get the Thunderhawks first issue, and then it just keeps going on that way up for the 5 weeks that it comes out. So yeah,
or 5 months,
or 15 weeks. Yeah. Right, because it's one issue each week.
Is it actually a weekly? Or they're doing they're going to do I guess 2.
Well, what's cool about is on the back of it,
yeah,
it has the timeline of when each issue comes out.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it has a checklist. Let me see if I can pop that up real quick. Yeah, it has a checklist right there, all the way up till, what is it? Oh shoot, August.
Okay, yeah, 5 months. Yeah.
So 5 months, August, all the way through, and then each week something is coming out. So you have 3 books each month.
Right.
oh man, I can't wait. And it's probably something that I'll get the collected edition as well. I mean, you grew up with it, so it's one of these things. I wish,
Yeah.
and the He-Man book that's out right now is actually pretty good, but I don't understand. Like He-Man is who's He-Man right now? It's Dark Horse, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and it's not coming out monthly.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I think right now just is like, I think they're burning off any old contracts prior to whatever's going to happen with the movie coming out.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a complete restructuring. I don't know, maybe even the license will change hands. Right. But I feel like for the time being, any previous iterations of He-Man will kind of be on the back burner as they kind of try to promote whatever this new version is.
Yeah, so. I guess. Yeah, it's just really weird. I mean, because none of the He-Man series have been ongoing. They've all been minis, 6-issue minis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then this one was coming out on time, and all of a sudden it was like either bi-monthly, or it's just weird that it was delayed. The other one that's fucking driving me insane is Orphan and the Five Beasts. So Stoke is fucking taking forever to finish off the story. So every time a new issue comes out, I'm like, what the hell happened to last issue? And it's literally like, I think 3 months since the last issue.
Well, I remember with the first miniseries, everyone got confused because they thought it was a 5-issue because of the title.
Right.
But it was only a 4-issue.
Yeah.
And it was an open ending because for the sequel, but also because it took so many months between the first 4-issue miniseries, just people were so confused that they kept coming in. When's issue 5 of this coming out? It's like, oh, wait, no, actually it's not.
No, I mean in the first volume, I think he only killed 2 of the 5 beasts.
The 5,
so he has 3, and then we moved it along a little bit. But now I'm like, it's been freaking a couple months since the last issue. I can't wait anymore. Come on, so just do your thing. All right, yeah, that's it. That's all we have for you this week. So you got 3 books. You got what did I do that? Did I do the wrong one? Yes. 2 books from Bad Idea. You got The Hab, which now I think I'm going to check out. I want to see some devastation going on underground.
Yeah, give it a read.
It's
cool. Yeah.
Yep. From the world of Ordained, you got The Machine. Really cool stuff here. Just really great background, and it really did give me an idea of like when I'm doing a series, if we want to take a character that's going to be introduced in, maybe do this sort of like one shot to kind of give a little bit of backstory rather than wasting, precious real estate in the current series that you're doing. So anybody who wants a little bit more background or understanding of a character's personality and stuff like that, that's what this would be. This is like a personality study. So you would understand what the character's thinking and their motivations and stuff like that when you see them in the main book, which is pretty cool. So you can check that out, The Machine. And then from Dynamite Comics, Mun-Ra, the Ever Living, our first iteration of a origin story. It was pretty cool. So I liked it. The art was great. Declan did a really great job on writing the book, because I think he's writing the main series also, which is the Thundercats Silverhawks. And then I think Ed Bryson is writing the Thunderhawks one, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there was a little teaser on the back of this particular issue as well. So yeah, they're doing a really good job with this crossover. So definitely check it out if you're a Thundercats and or Silverhawks fan as well. All right, so those are the books that we have for you this week. Whoo, we are done. So if you like what you heard, please subscribe to the podcast. Invite everyone that you know to come and see us every Thursday. Come hang out every Thursday night, 6 p.m. East Coast time. If you're a creator, want to be on the podcast, want to promote yourself, John and I would love to have you on. Just go over to indiecreatorcomics.com, fill out the podcast form, and we'll set you up. Social media, if you're on it, get on it. Indie Creator Comics, everywhere you go. And then last but not least, please support your local comic shops, because without them, we would not be able to do what we love to do, and that is read comics. Now, in 30 seconds or less, John is going to tell you where he gets his comics from.
Well, I get my comics at the Joker's Child in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. And here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I put that challenge out there, the editing mistake or in the error in the Hab #1. I'm going to give you guys another week. See if you can find it. If you come to the Joker's Child and you tell me that you found it, you're going to get a high five. If you can't make it to the Joker's Child in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, go to Google, find your local comic shop, walk in and tell them, hey, I found the error in the Hab #1. And they'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? But yeah, and then just if you want to comment here, let us know if you found it. I'll tell you what it is next week. In the meantime, come to the Joker's Child in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, or patronize your local comic shop. Get all these great comics that we talked about and much, much more.
There you go. That was 29 seconds and a half. Fantastic. All right, kiddos. Until next time, I want to thank you for joining us on the Indie Creative Comics Podcast, where we are all about independent comics.